pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So, okay. We're starting off not with public comments, but with the blood drive announcement. And we have Jennifer Paisano joining us for a few minutes to just give us this year's update and information. So Jennifer, good, you're unmuted. Are you there, Jennifer? Not hearing anything. Do you have volume? Yeah, she's on and she's unmuted. We're not hearing anything. And I don't know if you're able to turn on your video.
How about now? Good?
Good, yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Sorry about that. I didn't
No
say
worries.
anything good anyway.
You can
So I
mulligan.
just wanted to just tell you a little bit about the blood drive. I know it's in a few weeks, but we just thought, Judy and I thought it would be better if we just let everyone know about it with a little bit more time. So we have the blood drive on Friday, July 18th. We did it last year, the first time on a Friday, and we did really well. And we're also right at the youth center, so it's a great spot right in the middle of town. So I'm just reminding you, it's 12 to 6. Hopefully we get some of the camp families to come, and Judy and I work on promoting it. If anybody has any ideas on how we could promote it more, we are making the drive in honor of Joan again, like we did last year, and she came to the event, and it was very nice. So the summer is hard for us to get blood. People are thinking about vacations and all other fun activities, but patients and hospitals, they still need blood. Does anyone have any questions?
I
Put
don't.
out the road sign
Yes.
to announce it, okay?
Yes. Yes.
I also made a few posters that I'm going to bring to Judy on Thursday to put in the garbage area, and another big poster. So we'll have some things around town. Does anyone have any connection with the Girl Scout or Boy Scout troops in the area that maybe need any community service hours, want to come and help, want to spread the word, anything like that?
I'll contact the leaders, Girl Scout leaders.
Okay, that would be great. And Judy has the flyers and everything. I will be over on Thursday if you wanted to meet with us on Thursday.
Okay, great.
Okay.
And you're
All right,
talking Thursday of this week? or
This week,
Thursday?
yes.
Okay.
Thursday of this week, I'm coming over.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Just checking to see. Okay.
So any additional personal asks is really the best thing we could do. The number one reason why people don't donate blood is that nobody asked them. So here I am asking you to please consider to donate blood and ask. If you can't donate, if you can ask somebody else, we really greatly appreciate it.
Or put it on your personal social media feed.
Perfect.
Mhm.
Yes, that would be great. That would be great. Okay, Judy has all of she'll have all the flyers tomorrow, but we do have it electronically. And Slice also donated a slice of pizza to each donor.
Great. That's nice.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
All right.
Any questions from the public? All right. Thank you, Jennifer. And thank you for
so much.
joining us.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. All right. Public comments. All right. We have two. So what?
Only who said it.
Yeah, we've got a couple of people who signed up. Michael Gaynor, you are first up.
Thank you. Michael Gaynor, 8 Hobbit Lane. I wanted to make sure that the public was aware tomorrow night, Sylvester Manor Educational Farm is going to be going up in front of the Zoning Board of Appeals at 7:30 p.m. I plan on coming there and opposing their application for a bunch of different reasons. Principally because what's at heart here is what's an acceptable use of that historic site, what they would like to do there. Some of the things that they do there right now is they have an art gallery going on right now, a sculpture garden. They've had live concerts there, hundreds of people, concerts. This coming Saturday, they're going to have a corporate event where there's going to be disco dancing. They're going to set up a dance floor, play music, do all of this different stuff. And I believe those are, and they want to now codify this. They've been operating illegally for well over a decade in public view of everybody. They haven't gotten any of the appropriate permits and nobody's taken any enforcement action against them. But the heart of my concern is the fact that there are 200 people buried over there. 200 people that are buried over on that property. And none of the uses that they're suggesting that they want to do there, they want to have weddings there, they've said, is that they want to be a wedding venue going forward. Steven Searle stood up there, he wants to have weddings, dancing, music, booze, all of that, at a place where 200 people are buried. If you walk out that door right there, you wouldn't burn up 50 calories. You can go in every direction, pick your place. You can go to the Emily French cemeteries right there, Shelter Island cemeteries right there, Presbyterian cemeteries right there. Do any of these things go on at those places? There are hundreds of people buried right there, right behind you, right there, and everybody's acting like this isn't happening. The fact that nobody's ever called that place a cemetery, no one's ever had the courage to call that place a cemetery, doesn't make it not a cemetery. Cemetery is very bifurcated things. Two things happen there. It's a piece of land and people are buried. That's it. So none of these other things should be happening over there. So that's what this hearing is going to be out on Wednesday, and I am going to be coming out, and the gloves are coming off this time. And I'm going to get up and we're going to talk about this all at length because it's a public hearing, and I would strongly recommend that anyone who has any moral courage whatsoever show up. People are afraid to say things on the sidewalk. Nobody wants to wind up at the IGA. I was saying around the house, you don't walk out of the house with the curlers in your hair, right? Because nobody wants to wind up at the IGA and get a crusty from somebody, from these powerful people that are over at Sylvester Manor, their friends, and nobody wants to be made to feel like they're the ones who stopped this from happening. This cannot go on anymore. This is our opportunity as a community to recognize that there are 200 people buried over there and somebody needs to do something about it. It's not included anywhere inside of the application. The application is that thick. It's 120 pages deep. It talks about everything other than the fact that there are 200 people buried over there, 200 plus. It's a real problem. So please show up at the zoning hearing tomorrow night at 7:30. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you. Thank you. Jan Sudal, you signed up next.
Hi, Jens Sudors, Plum Island neighborhood. So I'm here on behalf of Plum Island Association, which is going to be represented by its president, Brad Coppens, who is traveling. So I'm taking his place to ask what is the status of the issue that we raised with WMAC, as well as the town board regarding the floats which are moored at the two moorings of Ram's Head Inn. Okay, so I would like to distribute first very little chronology of events. I'm just going to go through it very quickly. So basically, we noticed those floats in late April. Two large floats appeared on Ram's Head Inn moorings on Cockles Harbor. We notified the building department in early May.
And could I just stop for a second? I did speak to Andrea Carter, and those floats are being donated to an oyster fisherman, and it was hopeful that they would have been picked up last week or over the weekend, so I haven't been out there to determine if that took place.
So let me go through the rest.
As the floats are gone.
The floats are gone?
I would like to go through the rest of the chronology. So we notified the building department, that there are illegal floats on moorings. Building department with some delay informed us that the moored floats are legal per opinion of Marine Patrol officer. Then the next day we got the written explanation why he thinks they're illegal. According to his interpretation, the moorings cannot be applied for the floats to be put on them. Okay, that's in the code section, I forgot the section for the floats. However, once the moorings are in place, according to him, an vessel or boat of any size can be tied to them in case of riparian and commercial moorings. And then what the most interesting was his interpretation of vessel or boat, creative interpretation that is basically anything that floats, anything that could potentially carry people, okay? And allegedly, this opinion was provided by the previous town attorney. So basically, anything that floats could be a barn door, log of wood, or a float that could potentially carry people, even though those floats were permanently moored in there. They weren't transporting any people. So we notify next day, or the same day, WMAC of this creative interpretation of town's code. Then there was a meeting, WMAC meeting on June 2nd, when this was extensively discussed. No WMAC member supported the idea of following moored floats, or definition, a float as a vessel. However, WMAC chair stated that they are only advisory body and they have no enforcement power. And to date, we didn't get any response to our complaint. Then the license to the WMAC reported this at the town board meeting next day. There was a discussion about this. Supervisor Brock William was supposed to check with Andrea Carter, so I see
I
she did. And then Chief of Police Department asked for the legal interpretation of the applicable code by the current town attorney, and will then enforce it accordingly. Okay. The next day, on June 4th, we sent a formal letter to all the town board members. I think you all received it, asking for banning the moored floats and enforcement of this. And to date, 24th of June, so it's been now 2 months since those moored floats appeared. Ram Island Association did not receive a response. So we already know that you spoke with the owner from Sedin, but did the current town attorney issue a written opinion and made it public, clarifying that the moored floats are illegal, so that the police can consistently enforce it?
It's on the list.
I'm sorry?
That's on the list of things to do. We're operating with an interim town attorney with limited time, so we prioritize what work gets delegated to us. So it's in process, but it's not done yet.
Okay, would you care to give us some date by which we can expect this opinion?
I would need to consult with the town attorney to see what
I mean, it's just not complicated, to analyze this.
there's a lot on this list.
Okay, so, and just would like to confirm that the floats disappeared on Sunday. I've seen them on Friday. On Sunday, this disappeared. Don't know exactly what time. When I looked in the early afternoon, they were gone. And so.
So you knew the floats were gone already?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's not the solution, because just the fact that they are gone doesn't mean anything without legal opinion from the town attorney saying this cannot be allowed. And so then the police can enforce it, because there are more floats in other areas of the island. And when we had the discussion at WMAC, the chair of WMAC was surprised. How come people, I don't know anything about those other floats in other areas of the island. So while we're at it, and we would like to request the legal opinion, so that was requested by the chief of police, so he can consistently enforce it, and not that the owner of Amsterdam gave away those floats to somebody, but maybe they'll come back, because there's still no legal opinion saying that putting the floats on the moorings is illegal, not allowed by the town code.
List.
So that's great, it's on the list. I had to be pushing for this, but it's been 2 months, okay? And that kind of illustrates the weakness, enforcement weakness on the island, not just for this issue, but many others, okay? So I don't think it's so difficult to go through chapter 56, 90, and 128, 3 chapters of the town code that deal was the docks, moorings, and the third one is general about using the words, okay? And then issue a written opinion.
Knows what needs to be done.
Yeah, but we're not getting any date or anything specific, and it's been 2 months.
I duly noted.
Supervisor, we do have a standing legal opinion from our then town attorney that we're operating by until that legal opinion has been changed by somebody else. We're treating them accordingly. If you want further discussion through our harbor master or bay constable, I'd be glad to have them come forward. But right now, there's, as Mr. Sudol has suggested, there's numerous ones that are used as swim platforms throughout the community. And if that legal opinion changes, then we would have to take enforcement action against those swim platforms or other ones that are used throughout the community that we've allowed. So right now, Mr. Sudol, I hear your complaint. We and the supervisor has suggested that we're waiting for a second legal opinion, but until such time, we're going to operate the way we've operated in the past until such time changes.
Okay, so I have a follow-up question.
I'm sorry to interrupt for one moment, but if either the chief or someone else at town hall would forward to me the prior legal opinion, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, that was my exact question. We have not seen that legal opinion from previous town attorney in writing. It was just alleged that it sounded like it was oral opinion, which basically means it doesn't exist, okay? If there's a written opinion from the previous town attorney, I would like to see it.
And you may be correct. It may be an oral opinion, and we don't have that in writing, but I will find out for you. If we have it in writing, we will forward it to both the current town attorney and to you, Mr. Sudol. I have no problem with that.
What's the current?
Thank you.
I was gonna say, Chief can speak to what the current is. The only thing that I was able to find so far was a resolution for a transfer mooring or transfer platform that is about 5 years old, that hasn't been renewed.
Right.
But I don't,
So Chief, what's the current sort of position of the Bay Constable and the PD?
We're allowing those swim platforms to go on moorings. If a vessel is then attached to that platform, then that's where it becomes a problem. But if it's simply the mooring is being used as a small swim platform, we've been allowing that. If the town wants to further legislate that out, obviously that's within your purview, but until such time as that legislation appears, there's numerous residents in our community and other places that enjoy the use of the waterways by using their mooring and attaching a small swim platform to that. So we were trying to be fair in our adjudication with the Ram's Head Inn, so that we're consistent in our delivery.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
yeah,
Yeah, I would like to add something. It's not just small swimming platforms. Those 2 platforms attached to the Ram's Head Inn moorings were huge. And I have in writing an opinion by the police officer, the water constable, who says that Ram's Head Inn, if it wants to, can put a float of any size on all their moorings. So then I asked, can I put 40-foot platform on my riparian mooring? He says, sure, and everybody else can. Okay, so this is a serious matter, and I would hope that the town puts a higher priority on it than so far, and then ask the town attorney to provide a written opinion on this. And we don't need legislation really for it. It's just an interpretation of the current code, which to us is clear that this is not allowed, and not a single member of WMAC supported that. Thank you.
Oh, no. Look. Hang on.
I'm finishing or not?
No. Go upside there.
Okay, all right. Anyone else in the physical audience who wishes to speak? Anyone on Zoom? All right. Actually, I want to rejigger the agenda, just because we are on a tight schedule today. We have executive session starting at 2:30, and we have a series of people coming in to talk to or interview. So I'd like to knock off the items 4 and 5 first, because the WQI rebate program, Glover is the most recent application.
I'm going to excuse myself.
Yes, I was just about to say. So we have the one application, Glover 20E Winthrop Road. They are requesting, or the WQI Advisory Board has recommended a base grant of $12,000, the pressurized shallow drain field incentive of $5,000, and well replacement set aside of $4,000 for a total funding request of $21,000. And I believe, Albert, you were at that WQI meeting. I was away.
Yes, yeah, I will. It moves forward with it, yeah.
I think it was unanimous. So does anyone have any questions?
Nope.
So we'll put that on for approval on Monday.
Yeah.
Okay. The next item is the outdoor assembly permit for Shelter on Fireworks. We did just get this yesterday. The event is scheduled for July 12th. There is a committee that gets together with Chief Reed for Ken Lewis for Highway, Fire Department representatives, EMS representatives, the applicant, and usually a town board member too. I declined the invite. I don't know if you on the town board accepted or
I
the
did.
invite.
I accepted it.
Okay, so if someone else wants to sit in on that, that Zoom is tomorrow. I don't
I
recall.
believe it's at 11:30.
I-
It would be helpful. Okay, yeah, it would be helpful if someone else can log in because I'm going to be driving up to the East End Supervisors and Mayors meeting. So I was going to remotely log in to the meeting, but if someone wants to be present, that would be good in case I lose service.
Yeah, I think I could do it.
Christina, can you make sure Benjamin gets an invite on that?
I did the Zoom invite, Amber. I didn't push it out to the entire board. I sent it to only yourself and Councilwoman Larson, because you were on the committee last year, and I'm not trying to be exclusive. The entire town board's welcome. It's a standard operational meeting that we have with our primary participants or our stakeholders in the fireworks. So, and I did not invite Grucci, the firework committee, but we invited our local organizers, Kat Brigham, to attend. So, but I'll be glad to push that out to the entire town board, and whoever can make it tomorrow at 11:30 can make it.
Well, if you can make it, Benjamin, just because, not the entire town board, because we can't have a quorum.
Yeah.
So Ben's subbing in for you, and I will send that to Ben right now.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you, yes. But from the application, when I reviewed it this morning, it looks to be the standard, standard arrangement, placement, setups. I presume, everyone will, EMS, fire, police will all, I think generally we have state police that come in and help as well. So, but are there any questions from the board, since we're sort of going backwards, that should be taken to the meeting tomorrow?
Is the yacht club coming to this meeting? Were they invited?
I don't
They
recall them being
they
there
were not
last year.
invited. I know that we stage at that location, but they were not invited. The fireworks committee covers that portion of it for us.
Okay. All right, I mean, if they stage there and load high explosives there, I think they're kind of key participants, but maybe me dialing in could act as a dual representative.
Again, I have no problem adding them to the list. Who from the yacht club would you like there?
Who do I want to put more work on their plate?
Wade?
Probably Wade, Catula.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess because if you do have concerns and want, fire on standby or something.
Exactly, and, the fact that, like I said, they're loading a barge of high explosives on the property, and no one has asked them.
Oh, I thought that had been.
Or, they're not part of the conversation, and that seems a little weird.
That arrangement should have been made long before this meeting. They should be fully aware of it if that's where they're going to be staging that.
Yeah, because in the past years.
Oh, it's always been there,
Yeah, no, but I thought the yacht club had been dialed in on that.
but it'd be great if Wade could be invited,
No problem.
shows up great.
Right, good. Any other questions from the public? So I would suggest we put this on for resolution for Monday night, and if there's any concerns that cause it to be put on hold by the committee tomorrow, then let Amber know to pull it. And we can address them at next week's work session and then just do a special if it comes to it. Right. Next, we have developing a septic and water solution for the Center Municipal Buildings discussion. And Gordon, I presume you dropped this.
I beg your pardon?
I presume you dropped this on my desk this morning.
Yeah, I left it with the clerk to distribute, okay? I just made a brief summary, okay, to clarify the agenda. I'll just go through it briefly, okay? I just wanted the board I wanted to make sure that this committee, or it's not really a committee, it's a group, okay, of people that are going to be exploring this, okay, that the scope of the work is limited to the town municipal buildings. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page with that, okay?
That's understanding.
Okay, and this is just a draft. I think that other things will come when this committee sits down to really get into some depth over it. The members, I'm calling it the SWS team, okay, would be the town engineer, 2 liaisons from the town. I am suggesting adding 3 members who have experience in septic and drinking water issues. Okay, and I would like to lead this group, okay? The other parts I'm putting in here is relative to transparency. I am looking for all the meetings to be open to the public for viewing. Once we get the committees together, we'll have to determine whether it's a weekly or a bi-weekly meeting. The idea is we're at least to get some kind of a schedule going so that we can move this forward. I just created some items here, like a mission statement was really what is their goal? Okay, it's really to review, and I have tabulate here all existing data, assess the future municipal building needs, formulate various scenarios to create a new septic systems to reduce the contaminants from entering in the aquifer. The B was review the alternate ways of providing potable water. C is to prepare various alternatives with verified cost associated with it. Basically, which I'm trying to do is I want people to come to the table with a blank board, that there's no preconceived issues of what we're looking to do, or we're not pushing agendas, okay? We're going to take the data and develop it. And once we develop it, okay, I think once we have the plan or some kind of plan set up here, we will enlist an independent consultant to review this plan. When the Suffolk County Health Department was here, okay, they mentioned that they would help, okay, and they would participate with the town, but they didn't have anything really to look at. So I think this group should really be one of developing it. I think after that part gets taken, and again, this is loosely scripted here, but it's one of moving this forward, okay? take plans to the Suffolk County Health Department to get their input. We can take it to the Suffolk County Planning Board for review and advice. And the other part is, okay, to determine really the 1.2 million grant that's for the municipal buildings. This is just a general outline that I'm looking for the board to say, hey, this sounds like it's reasonable. It's not one particular direction, rather we're looking to solve the problems in the center, both in wastewater and with drinking water. At some given time, I think this group, okay, presents a draft with the multiple options to consider. I think the town board ultimately and the public will have to weigh in to see how this thing, look at what we're presenting. I'm hoping that we can get two options for both issues so that we're presenting not a particular direction, but just the facts, okay? And then the town board can interpret it how they want, okay? The timeline, I can't create a timeline at this time, other than I think, obviously, and it's been stated that the phase, I'm calling it phase one, the remediation of the septics in the municipal buildings in the center could be the number one phase of it, because I think we're still continuing to contaminate our aquifer. I think the phase two part would be improving our water quality to the municipal buildings. This is just an outline, and this is, I think these things will be developed when we get a committee together. The membership of this group, okay, should have some experience with water. I think we can discuss what I'm thinking in executive session about perhaps people that might be good candidates who know our water well here on the island, okay? But it's that basic, okay, there's nothing more. I just want to make sure that we're talking scope of the work, municipal buildings only. The makeup of the town, the committee or the team, spelling out the transparency that I think would be good for all the meetings to be open to the public. The mission, I think, is pretty clear. We're looking to take the data that we have. We're looking to look at it in real detail and document it so it's readily available for the public to see. And some of the stuff should be readily available online. And as far as the follow through with it, I think at some given time, we really do need to bring in someone who has the expertise, okay, that, again, the team, we have some engineers, we have an engineer, but again, we do need somebody with some really specialized background in what we're dealing with. That's basically what I have here. So if there's any comments on this, I'd be glad to listen to them. And as far as personnel to add to it, we can discuss that in executive session since it's a personnel issue.
Okay. All right. Meg, I know you had come up with some stuff too.
I did. I thought about this since Tuesday. Christina, can I share my screen?
I haven't had a chance. I just got your note here this morning, okay? I think that I just want to make sure that we're somewhat on the same page, okay? Basically, I was trying to address the formulation of the group, okay? That's all I was doing,
That's
okay?
exactly what I did here too. So I was looking at the same thing, Gordon, that you were looking at. So the biggest thing that I noticed when we had our meetings and we were trying to figure out how to move forward with this is that we need some clear direction from the town board on whether or not we're planning for our current situation or if we want to plan for the future of the town. So do we want to design just for the existing buildings, or do we want to do design work with the future in mind? Assuming that in time, these buildings are going to change, they're going to need repairs, maybe additions, that's going to kind of be a big component of it. So I have it first as define the purpose and the scope. We need to clearly articulate the opportunity, decide if we're going to be planning for the future or not. We have to draft a charge statement, exactly what is the mission, what is the goal, what are the timeframes, what are any of the limitations that are going to be met by this committee? And then we need to decide if it's going to be advisory or decision-making. We need to talk to legal, make sure we organize the committee correctly, make sure we're meeting open meetings law if it is going to be a public-facing committee. We might need a town, like a clerk to help if it's going to be having Zoom meetings and everything else. We'll have to pass a board resolution, I think, to establish it if it is going to be an open, public-facing committee. Then we need to figure out the structure, how many members are going to be on it, what are the qualifications. We need to go out to the public and, ask people if they want to participate. Select a chair, solicit applications, appoint committee members, review their applications, and then provide orientation to all the resources that we currently have. A lot of work has been done on this. So it's kind of collecting all the work that's already been done and making sure everybody on the committee understands it. Assign support staff like a clerk. And then you have to set a schedule of expectations so that you know what your benchmarks are, what timeline you're trying to achieve this in, outline exactly what the deliverables are going to be, what can the board expect to see from the committee, and then monitor the progress with regular updates to the town board and the public. And then once a plan is determined and, it's ready to go either to a consulting agency or someone to be developed, then this would, dissolve the committee and it would be in the hands of the town engineer. So that's kind of how I see a process like this unfolding. What you've outlined seems a little less formal. What I did was like the formal, approach to how you would do it. But I think the goal is to achieve the same thing. So maybe you can look over both options and put together what's going to work.
Yeah, I think we can merge these together. I think that identifying the overall direction by the town board, I think trying to answer some of these questions, I think it's kind of where we need to start. Or Gordon, was your thinking, let the committee answer those
Well,
questions?
I think what are we trying to accomplish? Okay, we're trying to eliminate, we're trying to eliminate the waste out of the municipal buildings, okay? And the other part of the issue is water, okay, potable water, okay? So unless something has changed, that should be still the same goal. The direction is taking the data and really getting into it and letting, I think that some of this, I think Meg did a good job, okay, because I think I just made a one-page not knowing, I just wanted to, just a simple bullet point in terms of where I was thinking we were going, okay? It certainly needs some other modifications in terms of, what's with if we're going to be doing Zoom meetings, we need a clerk, and it gets to be what we need the other parts, okay? But I can think all I was looking to do is to move this thing forward with some bullet points to make sure that the scope of the work is still remaining the same, okay? The team, I basically was looking to expand it, okay? Outside just 3 people, okay? The transparency I thought was good because of our past experience. I think that with having it out in the open and having good people, okay, I say good people, meaning people who are there, it keeps everybody in check, okay, and it gives the residents an understanding that we're moving forward with it and that we're going to come with some good understanding. And I think the idea is that ultimately, like every advisory board, okay, this committee is not really making a recommendation. They're providing the data. They're going to prevent multiple options to review. That's how I see it, okay?
A lot of that was done in PO's report. I feel like we've done a lot of this research and it's around, we just have to read it. So if it's a matter of collecting it into one place so that the board can read it and be up to speed, we can do that without creating a committee.
The difference, Meg, would be that when I say we come to the table, a blank board, okay, it means that, you know, again, with Pio, okay, we had him sitting at the town board seat presenting his, I don't want to go back to this, okay, but I think it would be, I think that, I think it's good to be just in a neutral, I think that this committee should be as neutral and just, it's almost like, I'll use the expression of John Cronin, okay? How many times he said, you know, my job is basically to give the facts, okay? The town board's job is to make the decision. And I think that's where we're going. I don't think that our town engineer has to weigh in and say, this is the best solution. Okay, I think when you have alternates, you can look at them and do something. So listen, it's only the beginning, you know, we're just moving forward. I think the septics piece will probably be the easiest of all of them, okay? But water is obviously connected and we want to do what's right. That's all I have to add.
Yeah, I think my only comment would be prepare various alternatives of verifiable costs. I think to go down a road where we've got various options and trying to get to a verifiable cost, I think we may want to narrow that scope of options.
I'm thinking hopefully there'll be two on each side.
But yeah, I want to just otherwise I think we'd be spending a lot of money on consultants.
I don't know, I'm not looking to tie this up with consultants. I'm looking, as we've said so many times, we spent a lot of time, WAC, there's been a lot of time spent on this. So we have a lot of the data to begin with. I think it's just putting together a plan, okay, and it's time to move on. I guess that's what I'm trying to do.
I was just gonna say, I do think we need some kind of budget for this because we do have to update our surveys. And I think that there are a few properties that we may not have surveys for. So that's something to consider because we need a clerk, we need some survey work. If we're gonna have to reach out for consultants, I mean, we're gonna have to budget something for this if that's the case.
But as I recall, Joe Fenora indicated that he had $80,000 in his budget. Is that a wrong statement?
I don't think that's correct.
80,000 for what?
For moving things forward.
It's 15,000 for professional fees. I think that's the right number.
But
not
that's,
80.
yeah, not 80.
Yeah, and I'd have to double check with him to see what.
And the other things we need to really look at the grant program as to what's really covered and what's not really covered.
Which grant program?
That it's not gonna cover what you're describing.
Oh, you mean the
Like
1.25
Right,
million?
it would cover the permitting process, but not, well, it may not cover the permitting process. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But they wouldn't cover something like this committee to figure out what you want to do. You know, that wouldn't be covered under the grant, not typically. Like the actual application fees and things like that, they might cover, but not the brainstorming up to it.
I think it's good getting an outline, both outlines together. It's kind of moving this forward rather than just kind of pie in the sky. It's putting concrete steps down, and it's a good thing. Move it forward, organize it, move it forward.
No, I totally agree. I'm not sure what the best path is, but that's the purpose of the exercise. You know, it should be an official committee or advisory. I don't know, maybe either one could work, we'll have to see. But I'm all for kind of redesigning the approach to this problem. It's been sitting around for a long time. So let's try to knock it out.
So are you saying that the committee is going to design options based on our current situation and then options based on something that's adaptable for future situations?
Well, I put in my first comment here, you mentioned that, okay, I said, review all existing data and assess future municipal building needs. Okay, that means that you're taking into account what changes you might need in the future and making accommodations for it where it is. And, you know, listen, these are only bullet points. I didn't go into a whole lot of elaborate. It's just basically a bullet point of really where we're at, not where we're at, but where we want to go. Okay, and I think that we're on the same page. We want to move it forward.
So we'd start with town engineer, 2 liaisons, that's currently Gordon and Meg. I'm almost thinking that there's an election coming up. This is going to go past 6 months. One of the 2 of us is going to be sitting in this seat, so I'm thinking that maybe you and I be the liaisons on this. So that way, as it moves forward, is just to keep some consistency.
I like that idea.
Good idea.
And then we can discuss in executive session who the 3 members are, and then maybe we can try and get a meeting on the books next week. Anyone else on this?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Could put more on the agenda. I have a few things that popped up for executive, so some legal. Okay. Board member reports.
I can kick it off.
Okay.
The 10K was this past weekend. It was a wonderful event. Lots of runners doing their thing. It was always a great, I don't know, it's just fun to see everybody. It brings the community together, and we were handing out T-shirts. It was a lot of fun. So that was a really nice event. And
And a thank you to, fire. They contribute greatly, bring some trucks in place to help close off roads. Jimbo Diner, kids placing the flags for Jimmy's Mile. There is a group that helps with the coordination via like ham radio operators. They come over from Southwold. They were in place this year even and got the job done. They all had competing events going on. So we had a lesser staff, but you would not have known it from the way the event went off. And then all of the volunteers from the 10K committee who make it happen.
and highway
Yes.
to prep and make sure it goes smoothly.
They all do such a great job because given the size, the impact is really minimal.
Yeah, it goes so smoothly. They've been doing it for so long. It's so well organized. I know Christina has a lot to do with the organization of it, making sure that it all runs smoothly.
Did you have anything else?
No, because other than that, it was a slow week.
It was a holiday in the middle of it.
Yeah, most of my things were before the last work session.
And, well, speaking of the holiday, Sylvester Manor holds an annual Juneteenth ceremony in the enslaved person's graveyard. I don't know, about 50 people showed up. And they hand out cards and everyone reads the history of a particular person who was enslaved on the island and or buried in the cemetery where the ceremony takes place. And it's just a really lovely event. And where we honor everyone who, contributed to the history of this place. And I would certainly encourage people to come next year because it really is quite moving.
That's good. Yeah, I'd only heard about it. I guess when you mentioned something on Tuesday, didn't know that it existed.
Yeah, it's the fourth time, I guess,
Okay.
that the Manor's done it. The fourth year.
Yeah.
I can count. Am I right with that? Yeah.
I'm not certain how many.
Yeah, I think it's
Been going on.
I don't have any committee meetings, but just a question, with the budget coming up here. The financial review, that has to be submitted to the auditors? Is that, where is that in the process?
Well, there's various things. There's the AFR that gets submitted to the state. Oh, and I downloaded that because somebody had requested it. I downloaded that for you all. I'll forward that.
Okay.
I had to log back on the site and I had trouble getting back in. So I have that done. We have a year-end report from the contract accountants that's been given to the auditors. The auditors were in, I think, maybe for the last time on Thursday or Friday. And I just have one area where I think the accruals are wrong. The auditors do not, it's not of a threshold that they think. And what happened was elected officials' salaries were divided by 27 pay periods last year. And so the first payroll in January for most employees covers a piece of the prior year, and elected salaries from, some of it got allocated to last year. So it looks like we were all overpaid last year. So while the auditors, it's not of a threshold where like we're not over budget or like we're not like in total over budget, it's something that I want to see fixed. So I have one set of journal entries to just finish going through with them, but at least we analyze that it's only applies to elected. So hopefully we can make that last journal entry and then the auditors can continue working on getting the audit done.
When would you anticipate having it back from the auditor?
He was trying to wrap up his site work last Friday. So I know you guys were good about getting the conflict, not the fraud risk questionnaire finalized. So it's a matter of just double checking and making sure, like, I think all of the attorneys have responded with requests for letters. So it's just whether or not there's any other confirmation letters out there that need to be followed up on. So we're getting close. And we're staying pretty much on track, which is surprising. But I think everything from the town's perspective is moving along. So it's just outside people.
So a matter of weeks or any?
He didn't want to,
Okay.
he didn't want to commit when I was asking him, especially when I threw this journal entry out. It was like, oh, so. And Shelby is on vacation this week through the 4th, so.
Maybe she can check when she comes back or whatever, just to try to pin up that.
Yeah, I should have it done before she gets back.
All right, thanks.
Then it was the first time I had gone to Sylvester Manor for that event. I think there were more than 50 people. It was really very solemn, and it was something that I would encourage everyone who doesn't know enough about the background of Sylvester Manor to come. I thought it was just was a solemn moment. The way we went around in a circle, mentioning names and a little bit of the background of the people who were there. I didn't realize the graveyard was larger than what was that center. They think it's further in a different, further and more people. But I'm very glad that I attended that. That is, it was, we talk about, well, anyhow, it was honoring those people, okay? The other thing that I'm talking about, the 10K that I was a volunteer, and we had 4 people at our station, and we were located up in Deering Harbor. Okay, and it's not serious stuff. This is kind of comical, okay, because there were 4 of us there, and it was blowing like crazy, and we had to fill these cups that were blowing off the table, okay? And so we thought we had everything covered, and all the cups were out. How bad could this be with a few runners coming through? Well, when they came through, little pieces. Well, this is the first place. The other table did not have water available because they didn't have cups. So I didn't think anything of it. Okay, and then all of a sudden, this whole gang of people come in. We couldn't keep the cups filled. Okay, and these people are dying of heat exhaustion. One guy was pouring water over his head. It was a great experience. And then, of course, you look down the street on Deering Harbor, okay, cups all over the place with the wind blowing them all over. But it was a fun experience, okay, and everybody was so appreciative that you thought we were giving out money, okay, but it was water, and it was very very rewarding. I'm glad I attended that, okay, and did that, and we certainly will do it again. One man came through, he was so, wanted this water, and as he went, the cups of table like this, he grabbed one here, and he took like 24 of them out as he was running by. So it was really a zoo, okay? But it's actually is a very good event, okay? The only other thing to mention, okay, is that I did attend the gay parade out in Greenport, okay? And that was pretty an interesting experience, okay? People from all over, okay? You know, it was, what happens is you look at the parade and the people that are there, and you realize the diversity in our community, okay? Not specifically our community, but just in general, okay? But it was a very, very good, no problem event, okay? And again, I was glad to have attended that as well. But that's all I have to report this week, guys. Thanks.
EMS had their advisory board meeting. It's quarterly. And it's always a good chance to give a really good shout out to all that the EMS does. I have a list of what they have worked on in the past quarter. They helped with the Lions Club cleanup. They were there with the 10K, 3 different ambulances in different positions. They're going to be, you know, on standby at the fireworks. They had a job fair day at the school. They also participated in the school's Give Back Day. The kids came by and cleaned the ambulances with them. Up at Gardeners Bay Country Club, they had a family day. They participate in Camp Good Grief. They participate in Camp Good Morning. So that's just some of the things that they participate in. Like besides all of the calls, I forgot to write down the number that they've responded to this year so far, but it is higher than prior years. They've had 2 members resign, and I think they've got 3 new potential people. One is bilingual, which would be a very nice addition. The building of the ambulance barn, hopefully within the next 30 days, we will see the start of that construction. And what else do I have? They have gotten the new bariatric stretcher. They just got that, I think, back on the 19th. And you all had an opportunity to attend the annual foundation dinner, huge success. And yeah, I have to take a look. The CPR compression, one of the CPR compression equipment broke. So that could be a $23,000 equipment purchase. So I'll be hearing more from Jack about how that's going to get funded. And that was that. Let's go through the list of committees that we need people for: Licensing Review Board, Board of Ethics, freelance, this is paid, freelance home repair. And we have an interview today for outside counsel that we're continuing to follow up on. I think that was it.
Okay, thanks. I may have someone reported. John.
Amber, I thought the EMS thing was a great event, thanking the people who work so hard in the community. Really a very, very nice, and Jack did a great job. But, you know, amongst us, we do have a ham bone, okay? This man over here, he was in his glory. You did a great job talking to the EMS people, okay? It was thanking them for coming to the club and acknowledging their hard work. Nice job done.
Thank you. It was an honor to have them there.
All right. That's the agenda. So we're half an hour ahead of schedule, but I think we have enough in executive session that we might be able to rearrange a few things so that we don't have to go quite as late as anticipated today.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. So thank you, everybody. We will adjourn the work session to go into executive session.